Our next delegate has been involved with perpetuating the island's culture for decades. Welcome back to Estoria-Ta.
Hafide Guau si Marie Arceo, Guahui Presidente in Hurrao Academy. I am the co-chair for Traditional Games to my husband, Mr. Marie Arceo, for the Festival of the Pacific 2016 Traditional Games.
When it comes to the preservation of our island's culture and its language, standing at the forefront of this effort, you will find Anne Marie and her husband Ray.
Coming with purpose, with what my purpose is, that I believe I've been practicing Chamorro language and culture, advocating for Chamorro language and culture for over 20 years now. And traditional games happen to come with the territory of language and culture. You know, you can't separate the two, and so running Hurrao for over 11 years now, we've been teaching these traditional games to the kids in Hurrao as part of our curriculum. So we're pretty good at it. And as a child, you know, some of these games, I'm very familiar with these games because I grew up with them. We didn't have a Toys R Us or a Kmart, you know, to buy any of these toys, and so using nature to keep ourselves busy and also to teach core values like inafamalik, you know, to be able to get along even in a very friendly game. And that's the whole idea for FestPac, is to bring in traditional games to be able to build camaraderie, to build inafamalik with the other countries and also among ourselves here on Guam.
Starting as a Chamorro language teacher, Anne Marie would eventually take her passion outside of the Department of Education.
You know, to do something to make a difference, and so I ventured into, I was always, of course, in the advocacy of language and culture, and I went into being the director of Chamorro Language Commission at one time, and then after that, I still worked as a Chamorro language teacher, and then I started teaching at the university and at GCC and at Bishop Baumgartner. So I just all over, just, you know, trying to serve wherever I could. And then I ended up with Hurrao, you know, trying to, after learning about Hawaii and seeing their immersion programs, Hurrao was actually modeled off of their programs. And it works. Immersion works. And so here we are almost 12 years later.
Being so deeply connected to our culture, it's not a surprise that Anne Marie is a veteran to the Festival of Pacific Arts.
I've been to a couple. I've been to one in the Cook Islands, Rarotonga, and one to Western Samoa. So it was quite an experience. The one in the Cook Islands is the one I really remember the most because it was my first, and it was a wonderful experience. The things I saw were only things I saw in the history books, you know, what I was taught in school, and realizing that this is all really real and existing was amazing for me. It was one of the best times of my life and my growth in my self-identity, actually, you know, realizing that these people, other nations are so strong in their culture. Being so strong in the culture made me come back home even stronger, wanting to grow more, you know, to know more about my people and my roots. And so that's what FestPac did for me, going away, you know. It might be a little different being on Guam because we're home, but it only comes around 4 times, and I think we'll never get an opportunity again in this life, not in my lifetime at least, because they only have it every 4 years and it has to travel to all the different countries. And so we're very blessed to be able to host it here on Guam. Those of you that want to experience it should take advantage of these 2 weeks. It's going to be every day. I know it's going to be crazy here, but especially here in Agutya, in our capital, but it's going to be a beautiful time in our history, the history of the Chamorro people. So I'm encouraging everybody to come out, experience it, take advantage of all the different things and traditional arts that are going to happen. It's beautiful. It makes you realize the beauty of all of what God created, you know, His creation, and our talents, the talents all coming together. It's going to be wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. So come out and take advantage.
And more importantly, she's hoping parents will take the time to bring their children to the festival.
I always said that everything we do now, you know, at our age, our days are numbered. You know, I'm 48, and I just hope between my husband and I, with whatever we do, that we are able to pass this on to our children and to the children of Guam. And so in this area of traditional games, it's really something that the kids don't know how to appreciate today in this world of electronics, you know. So our hope is that, you know, our children, and the children of Horao experience it every single summer when they come, and in our after-school program, we don't allow electronics, and so we set up games for them. It's like a normal thing in their life. You know, they don't, when they come here after school or even spend their days during the summer here, this is what they experience, is something very, very traditional, something close to home, and it really builds their identity. They love it. And so with this hope that, you know, we're serving this purpose to pass on our language, our culture, our traditions, we have a hope that our children will carry it on, and that it'll you know, go on just like my grandmother told me and shared with me her stories about how these games came about. I hope that I'm able to pay that forward and have our children continue to practice it. Viva Festback! Viva Guam!
Stay tuned. Up next on Estoria-Ta, we'll introduce you to Anne Marie's husband, Ray, who's been on this journey with her for years.